the show. Nathan and Ashley, here we go. We'll talk about life, the highs and lows, mental health, parenting, all we'll expose. Oh, come to the Unthreaded Podcast, where the chords are unscripted and conversations fast. Join us as we delve into life's complexity, unraveling the threads, finding inner peace.
Well, we're on episode 3. That's gone quite quickly, hasn't it?
Yeah, I still like the intro.
Yeah, the intro's
A
good.
lot.
Yeah, it's good. It makes our introduction a little bit easier to do because you just mention what episode you're on.
Episode 3.
Rather than trying to think of something that will ease people into it.
Yes.
Yeah, so in terms of this episode, we're going to answer questions again. So great that we're getting interactions.
Yeah, thank you for that. It does help us kind of script it a little bit better.
Yeah, obviously we want to give back really, so answering those questions that you've kind of got. So we're going to talk about a question we got on YouTube, and then we're on to our little bit of parenting side, aren't we? So we're going to talk about the pregnancy that we kind of went through, or pregnancies that we went through.
The wild ride.
Yeah, the wild ride, and the reason as to why I don't want another one.
Yeah.
Just going to stick to Otis. Yeah, so we'll talk about that one at the back end of the podcast, but start as we usually do. How are you?
I'm okay today, thank you. Yeah. I've had half a day's annual leave. I've come home, enjoyed myself, and now I'm here with you doing this.
Yeah.
How are you?
Good. I've just finished work after having 4 hours of meetings this afternoon. But yeah, I feel good.
Yeah.
Ready to go through this and to get this out for Friday. I do apologise that it was slightly late.
Friday. What was late?
The podcast going out. You promised everyone 7 o'clock, and I said that we probably wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah.
And it took hours and hours and hours, because if you leave the YouTube side of it just processing overnight, it stops when your laptop locks.
Cool.
So it stopped, and I got up at 5 o'clock to get everything going, which meant it went out at about 8.
H, mate.
Yeah, it'll be out on Friday again, which is good.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get back into a routine. I lost myself a little bit.
Yeah, when we went away.
Yeah, mainly not doing meditations and that side of it, but I was doing ice baths. That were helping.
Ice bath. Because it sounded like you said ice bath.
Ice bath.
Ice bath.
Yeah. So that in the garden now. So I get in there every day.
Yeah.
And I've been doing breathwork stuff. I'm doing all right.
We've had a lot going on these past 2 weeks. It's been quite rough mentally and physically draining. And we're coming out of the positive side now, seeing the light. There's a lot of good stuff happening now.
Yeah, this is one of the first days this week where my whoop's in the green for recovery and
Whoop, whoop.
not red. I got a 1% score, which is always great to wake up to when it flashes and you're part of the 1%.
I feel like I've
club.
been on 1% for a year, but we won't go into that. That'll come into my pregnancy talk after.
I definitely felt it, but I'm feeling better now. We're coming to the back end of the week, and
What was the question on YouTube? Do you remember?
the question on YouTube was all about social media.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can move on to that if you want.
Sure?
Fed up of me talking about myself, so it's shuffled me on.
A little bit.
Yeah, that's all right. So in terms of YouTube, it was from Italian. It was all about if you consider social media as a positive or a negative. Mm-hmm. And you could look at both of it. Do you want to go with your opinion of you being on social media?
Yes, I see it as a positive. I see it as a platform for people to use to discuss mental health, to discuss their life. I can see the negatives in it about comparatives, just comparing yourself against others. I know that's happening to a few mums at the minute in my social group, and we're trying to explain that isn't real. Yes, some people are beautiful, but they still have rubbish days as well, and we all struggle with one thing or another. So comparing ourselves, that's the negative side I'm seeing. The positive side, I think there's a lot. I think it gives people a platform. Some people don't have the time or facilities or social circle to sit in groups of friends, so they can project their emotions on it and feelings. And like us, we've got family up and down the country. I've got friends across the world. That's where I put our life, so people can interact with it and see it and see where we're up to. And I get a lot of feedback from that, and they love it. So I see a lot of pluses from it. And I think that men in the sports industry are using it a lot more to project their mental health. So I'm big on that. I follow a lot of men's mental health in sport on social media. And women, well, it's just pushing how great women are. No, I'm joking. It is it's good for everyone, but it does have some negatives. And I think it's to do a lot with the person's mindset who opens and reads it as to how it's understood and accepted. What about you?
Yeah, it's whether you have to have an open mindset to social media.
Yeah.
I'm not on it purely for the reason of it saving time. Like, it is for purely saving time. Like, I came off it and then realised I'd saved so much time not being on it, really, and it was a little bit like boring. Like with you looking at what friends were doing and family were doing, I don't have that same relationship with friends or family to the point where I weren't bothered.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm bothered.
Yeah.
I'd love to spend a lot more time with some people in your family. Spent some time with your auntie on Monday, and I thoroughly loved it. And that was purely because me and Otis had a day off together. We went up there and spent a good few hours, and time just flew away. And it was lovely. And I've got friends in London, and I'd love to be there with them. One of my friends at the minute messages me on Instagram, again, a social media platform, because she lost her dad. And I've lost my dad, so we have that similarity in being able to help each other. But I would love to be there for her. And I don't have the time, so being able to use that social media platform to connect with each other is great. And that's why I think it's important for me to be able to use it.
But then it's, like you just said, it's filling a void of you not actually being with them. And then when you are with them,
Can't be there all the
that's
time.
it.
Yeah.
So it's about creating it, isn't it? Like,
Yes.
because you don't have social media, if you want to spend time with me, you have to spend time with me in person. You do have to spend time with me in person.
I 100% get that, yeah.
And if you want an insight into my life, send me a text. Or people do ask, pick up the phone, give me a call, send me a message, create a business account on LinkedIn, send me a message on
That's
LinkedIn.
social media.
It is, but it's used different, and I understand the positives and negatives, so I'm using it as a networking thing.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm using it as a network to see what other people are doing. Like you just said, there's a lot of people on there who are speaking about it, and I have interest in, like, looking after my health.
Yeah.
I've got interest in not necessarily male figures when they're in their environment and they're thriving, but a lot of my LinkedIn following is through people who have finished their career. I like seeing that. I like seeing people build a second opportunity. So people like Robson Carn, who I speak to about you have no idea who he is, but he set up the Turmeric company. And it's like
This
that size.
company.
Yeah, but it's really interesting because he's built that platform. At the moment, there's like Gary Neville, who's built a multi-million-pound business, is now a dragon through his university. He's got a football club. He's got various different hotels. He's pumping in millions and millions of pounds into the city that's closest to us.
Yeah.
And you can walk through the city and be like, Gary Neville's there, Gary Neville's there, Gary Neville's there, because there's bits of him everywhere, which is really cool.
And Gary, if you ever do get to watch this, you know when we were driving up Trinity Way, Manchester, and you was in that car outside of it, that was me giving you a wave and him saying, shut up, leave him alone. I was very excited to see you.
Yeah, as much as I'm one of those where if I saw you in public, I'd never approach you.
Yeah, but you just
I'd be like, give him his space, give him his space, but it's really cool. But yeah, he's one person that I've really looked up to from obviously his Diary of a CEO episode where he talked about the burnout side of it and working really hard, and it kind of puts that work-life balance into perspective, which you can believe or not, depending on where you're from, and it's like that side. So I'm interested in those, but then it saves me a huge amount of time because I know to get that endorphin kick, it's really easy to scroll through and look at colourful pictures and scroll through Facebook and that side of it. Whereas if I spend time doing other things, whether it's reading or doing business stuff or watching useful. I mean, YouTube is a social media, and I watch a lot of pointless rubbish on there for my endorphin release and the kick that way. But I also have a lot of business podcasts that I watch on there, or a lot of like self-help stuff that I watch on there, and I can save lots of time doing that. If I didn't, what would I do in the morning? I'd probably still wake up at 4:30, but I'd scroll down Instagram for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Whereas
I don't particularly open Instagram or Facebook first thing in the morning. I don't. I do speak to my friends on, would you class WhatsApp as social media? It's not, it's just a technology, isn't it? It's communication.
Owned by Meta, isn't it? But it's a communication method.
Yeah. I open that and we check in with the girls, but that's because we all say, good morning. One of my best friends always says, morning campers. And I'm like, me and her have been camping before, but we're not campers, are we? Anyway, I see the positives and negatives of it through and through, yes.
I think coming from the social media and the negative point of view, obviously not just time and stuff, but going through like the men's side of it, there's a massive impact on men's mental health at the moment and an expectation. Is that expectation coming from like body dysmorphia is at its highest ever, especially in men. Like men have now taken over females in terms of when it comes to body dysmorphia. But is that because of the image which is portrayed on social media and the image that's portrayed on the front of like magazines such as Men's Health and stuff like that, and you're expected to be aware? And then a lot of it, I know James Smith openly talks about it on his, he's another one that I quite like. He's controversial, but I do really like him. He talks about these men are unrealistic. Yeah,
what I will say is, and this is from a female perspective, and I know a lot of you guys listening and watching probably will agree, and if you do, drop a comment in or send us some sort of feedback. I feel intimidated if a man has got this perfect physique, because that requires us to maintain a perfect physique. And once you become a parent, you don't have time to have a perfect physique. When I was 21, I was in my prime physique, I'll say. I probably had breakup body in the diet, and I was exercising, and I was spending loads more time dancing and partying. But was I truly happy? No. And then I would find it very hard, and I know a lot of my girls would find it very hard to maintain the perfect mum bod if they had the perfect dad bod next to them. Now, let me know what you think about that. I love a dad bod. Not keen on a beer belly, and I'm not keen on obesity, and I'm all for promoting healthy bodies and healthy life. But men, please don't think that you have to be as fit as, I couldn't even tell you, fit man. What would you say?
Yeah, but it's not just fitness though, is it? It's setting an expectation anywhere else. If you look at the expectations which is pushed on social media, you have got this whole like alpha male thing going on. And I do try and keep up to date with what's going on and what's trending. And I know students talk about it a lot, so it does come up, and it comes up with friends and stuff. But you've got the whole alpha male or dominant male thing going on. So you had the whole, what was it, like feminism side. Yeah. But now you've got all of this like alpha male side coming out, which was, it did make me laugh. And it's probably going to come in like once an episode is Diary of a CEO. Like,
wait for him to sponsor us.
The aim might be to get on his podcast. But he's just done an episode with Jimmy Carr. It's the second one he's done, and it's incredible. 2 hours well spent for anyone. Jimmy Carr is an incredible person, and he's not the person that he portrays himself on TV.
100%.
So go and watch it. But he summarises it. He summarises social media and stuff like that. And he uses Andrew Tate and Donald Trump as an examples, right? So very much extreme scales. And he says,
you can tell by my reaction that the two names that it makes me itch. Donald
Trump is what a poor man thinks a rich man looks like. And Andrew Tate is what a 14-year-old thinks a man looks like. But, like anything, controversy gets views, scaremongering gets views, and, like, being in the middle and not doing anything controversial or anything like that doesn't really get you many places. It's about sharing the extreme, where people, like, click. That's why the news, if you scroll down the news. Yeah, I have a very filtered news stream of where I want certain things.
The only news I get is from you.
Yeah, so
have you seen this in the news? No.
You've got that side of social media portrays extremism. or just someone's dream life.
Or the ideals, yeah. The
Yeah, you
ideals.
mentioned you at like 21 or whatever, where you were at the slimmest and you were probably posting pictures of holidays and stuff like that. And everyone viewing that thinks, I need to be doing that.
Yeah.
And it's your friends, where I think a lot of the issues come from when it's your friends that you're viewing. Because my social media is full of, I mean, my LinkedIn network, I don't really go on. Like it's there, and I can speak to odd people on there purely for like networking or university or stuff like that. But my YouTube, which I'd consider social media, is full of people who are at the top of where they're going to be.
Yeah.
So if anything, that motivates me.
Yeah.
But if it's your friends and it's your family that are going on holiday or setting up successful businesses or something like that,
You're comparing yourself to
you're
them.
comparing yourself to people
that's true.
who at one time were on your level.
Do you know who I do love? I'm going to throw this in there, and this is big for women. Get on Stacey Solomon's social media. She is real as they come, raw.
There's her and there's the other one.
Vicky Patterson.
That's it. Those.
Love her.
I know you've spoken about those
Yeah.
two, but I'm viewing people who are at like the top end. So I
Yeah.
never see it as I should be on your level.
Yeah.
I see it as I want to be working towards your
want
level.
to be on your
how,
level.
How did you get there?
Yeah.
Or can I pull different bits and can I implement
It's
that?
like research.
Yeah, it's a drive. Like
There is positives and negatives to social media, absolutely. And I believe also it's a mindset thing. If I wake up and see Taylor Swift, I love Taylor Swift. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. She's blonde, she's slim, she's skinny. I could wake up one day and think, should I be blonde, skinny and tall? I'm never going to be tall, I'm 5'1". Or I could wake up and think, you go girl, you're smashing life. Don't compare myself to her, because I could never be Taylor Swift. I never want to be Taylor Swift. I'm Ashley and I love being me. But in someone's mindset who thinks, oh, wish I could be blonde, shall I go and get my hair dyed? Or wish I could be skinny, I shouldn't eat that. You know, that today I want to be skinny. That's the comparable mindset I was thinking about as well. And I think that's what a lot of women struggle with. If they haven't got a solid identity themselves, I remember one time, they will want to be that person or do everything to be that person. I remember one time when went back in the day when I was doing circuits at the gym, I had Jennifer Lopez as my wallpaper, as inspiration. Woman's past 59, and she's incredible shape. I will never be Jennifer Lopez, no matter how much you wish, no matter how much I want to be. I am not a Latino woman who has a PT and goes to the gym and has that luxury. I'm not. I like fast food. I like my food. I eat a lot of food. And you love me for me. You didn't love me because I look like Jennifer Lopez, because I have never looked like Jennifer Lopez. But there was a point in time when I thought, I could do that. I could be as fit as her. No, I can't. I could get fit and I could go do it for myself, but I should never compare myself to her.
Yeah, but it's one of those things as well, isn't it? Like, an identity can change very quickly.
Yeah.
My identity's changed within 90 days this year. Like, in terms of just the drive of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, I am a different person from, like, December to now.
I'd say, again, me and my friends have talked about this, my identity's massively changed since becoming a mum.
Yeah.
Which is something we'll talk about when we move on to the pregnancy journey.
I guess that's why mine's changed, because I said that it's not just me.
Priorities have changed, your life's changed.
Yeah.
We've got to roll with it and change with it, haven't we?
Yes, it's not just me, so there's that side of it. So
Yeah,
in terms of that
who you
one,
are.
I'm doing more with the social media now on, and just to help you out.
Yeah.
So I'm creating some posts for Instagram.
They're the better ones. So if you've been on the Instagram and had a click and a look and you think, oh, these have improved, that's because Nathan's got his tech head on and had a go. They are nice. I like them, and I am promoting them.
And just jumping in on her and
Really
using
appreciate your
Canva
help.
to create some posts. So I can do that, and I have a little bit of free time in the evenings and stuff, so doing that. And I'm using Threads. That Instagram, well, it's an Instagram side thing that gained like 100 million or a billion, something like that, users within the first week.
My sister told me to get on Threads and I was like, I can't do it all. But I'm so glad you are now.
It's lost 80% of its customer base, apparently.
Really? Why?
Well, no one's using it because everyone went back on Twitter.
Oh,
But
because of the X thing.
people use Instagram for pictures.
Yeah.
So everyone went back on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, and there's a lot. Elon Musk putting everyone under restrictions or whatever. So
Big up Elon
I'm keeping
Musk.
my options open. I'm using Threads purely to just get stuff out my head.
Okay.
I use my journal, but then some of the stuff in my journal, people are like, I posted one as a blog and people were interested.
Yeah.
So I'm like, right, I can write stuff in my journal, but then just post stuff out. And by journal, it is a leather journal, but I use it just to put my thoughts in. So I open it at whatever point during the day and I just write thoughts in, or every other day or something like that. And it's not a journal of, oh, this is what I did today, sort of thing. Like, I posted on there this morning about concept of time. That was what was just going through my head. I was sat on my lunch while at work and I was like,
Nathan. Concept of time, oh yeah.
Concept of time in my head. So I was writing about that, and then I put it on Threads. So go and interact with that. Feel free to have conversations with me. That's probably where you might find me, because I'm only using Threads, aren't I? You're doing Instagram and Facebook, but I'm just using Threads.
And I really appreciate that. Also, regarding concept of time, any Alice in Wonderland fans, just let me know if you are. Alice in Wonderland 1 and 2 Through the Looking Glass has a lovely portrayal of concept of time, and that I'm big on that. So if anyone does understand what I mean, let us know and we'll talk about that on the next episode.
It all came from my morning went really slowly, my lunch went really quick, enough that I hardly got a chance to eat, and then my afternoon's flown by because I've just been speaking to people. Concept of time. It's all perceptions. It speeds up and slows down if you believe in that. So there's all that side. That went off topic from social media. But yeah, positives and negatives.
Yes.
I've kind of shared my positives, my negatives. It can be really good at giving you a sense of community. But then if those people are sharing... Yeah, if those people are sharing things that you don't want to see, maybe mute their notifications for a few weeks.
The girls laugh at me because they say, oh, have you seen such a thing and such a thing? No. Why? Well, go on it and have a look. I said, oh, I removed them like 3 years ago. They have no input to my life, so I removed them. Or I watch them for the latest drama or the gossip or whatever, and people keep people on social media for them reasons. They're the reasons I get rid of them. Because I think, oh, again, or... if someone's posting really offensive things or things that make me upset, remove, block, delete, gone. I do a lot of, what would you call it, social cleansing. Just like, get rid. And that helps me. That makes me feel like, done.
Yeah. So
like you, though, you follow the people that help you build and help you grow. I'm starting to do that now. So if you don't add anything to my life...
Yeah. And that's a tip, really, isn't it? Because... one of the things that they say when it comes to giving yourself a drive is to surround yourself with people. So I surround myself with people like on YouTube that are setting up businesses and stuff like that, and try and get
people
that out there. So
who inspire you, people that you can take things from and educate yourself. It's like growing a plant, isn't it? You've got to feed that plant for it to grow. So if you're going to, talking about plants again, Joel, I say I love that. If you're going to nurture yourself with the right feed and the right ingredients, so take all the bad away and give yourself the positives. That's a positive thing about social media. You can get rid of it if you wanted to. Get rid of it and put something good in.
Yeah, take some time off. So all I did was took like a month off, didn't I? It was like January. I was like, right, I want to take a month off, and then I never went back on it.
Yeah. So that's a wrap for social media, positives and negatives. Do let us know what you think as well. Do you find social media a good thing or a bad thing, and why? Just say and why.
Yeah. Yeah, who do you follow that inspires you? That's a good one, so we can share those people around.
I'm going to say one here, and this is, she'll know exactly when I tag her and when I say it. This woman is called Gina Swire, okay? She was introduced to me through my friend called Pippa Leslie, also an inspiration. Gina Swire has done a lot of women's empowerment, I'll call it, and she is killing it. She's moved to Bali now and she's living the dream. But I struggled about 3-4 weeks ago with what to do. I was struggling with this podcast. I was anxious about it, as I explained in episode 1, and I messaged her. All the way from Bali, I've met this woman once, right? All the way from Bali, she voice noted me back and she said, thank you for reaching out. And she gave me inspiration. and she made me feel confident because she was also feeling it. She was feeling the changes, and she helped me with what she was dealing with. And I thought, thank you. I follow her for inspiration. I love her, and we will add the tags in the bottom because she's also wrote a book which I'll promote here, and she's great. For women, I say her. For men, I say Gary Neville.
Gary Neville's good.
Stephen Bartlett.
Stephen Bartlett's good. Stephen Bartlett's...
He provides the platform for people to show what they've got to give.
Yeah. He's like, in terms of business, he would be that inspiration. But I watch his behind the diary stuff.
Yeah.
And work-life balance goes out the window.
Right.
So he works for like 10 hours a day. And he's an incredible business person when it comes to social media and marketing, along with other things. But he's very busy.
Yeah.
Gary Neville's good. Who else would you say? In terms of setting those expectations. If you're wanting to really work on yourself, one of my favourites on YouTube's Ryan Holiday. Does the Daily Stoic. It's like a philosophy side. He'll come in later on. I want to talk about his book. I've just finished Discipline is Destiny, which is one of the books that I got from him, and that was really good. Yeah. But he's quite good at just seeing an aspect of life, and he always brings in like Stoic values as well that have been around for like a couple of thousand years. So that's always good.
Any females?
Any females? Can't say I really follow many.
Mel Robbins?
Mel Robbins is good. I've only watched her on Diary of a CEO.
Oh, okay. I follow her now, and I think she's cool. I
want to invest in like certain podcasts, so I always do Diary of a CEO and I do Andrew Huberman for like the health side. But as soon as I try and introduce another podcast in there, it tends to be, it just gets put to one side. Like Mel Robbins has a podcast. Yeah. And when she was on Diary of a CEO, I wanted to listen to Mel Robbins' podcast, but it's having that time.
Yeah.
Because it's 2 hours for Diary of a CEO. Some of Andrew Huberman's podcasts are like 5 hours long.
Oh my God.
Most of them are like 2-3, so it's those. And there's like a few others. In terms of females, got a few business females, but nothing
that's coming to your mind.
Inspirational.
Well, if you think about it, we'll pop it on the next one.
Yeah, we'll talk about him in other podcasts in terms of who's inspiring. But Mark Manson, I'm staring at his book, the Subtle Art book. So Mark Manson's a good one too. If you're into the harder side of self-help.
Yes.
So if you don't like the
ideology of it.
It's not necessarily ideology, but like the softer side of picking people up when they're not in the best of place and being like, oh, try this, try that, which is what a lot of self-help books go down. If you're into like just being told, like some of it's not, you're not going to like.
Direct.
Yeah, and go on his stuff on YouTube's really good as well. As much as his books are really good, and he's quite good as a person, but he just tells you straight. But that again is controversial views said in a way that gets clicks.
Yeah.
And that's what he does. But he's good as well.
Okay.
So on to the next part, which is kind of pregnancy journey.
Yeah. Do you want to start us off? How it all began?
You can if you want.
You're like, no.
You were the pregnant one.
Yeah. Okay, so we got pregnant the early side of 2022, didn't we? And we were over the moon, weren't we? We were super excited. And unfortunately, we did lose that baby. And it was really hard for us both, wasn't it? Fortunately, I had amazing work support. My colleagues were incredible. My friend opened up that she'd also suffered, and I felt hugged from a distance. But you struggled, didn't you?
I struggled at home. I just threw myself into work, didn't I? But I just
quiet.
Disappeared at home. Yeah, didn't really speak or anything. No. I just sat there. Didn't do anything in my spare time. I just worked, tried to work as much as I could.
Yeah.
Obviously, all of this weren't a thing, so I weren't looking at businesses or anything like that. My free time outside of work was my free time, and I didn't do anything, didn't read.
No, you couldn't. We couldn't focus, could we?
Just it was hard. I just sat and stared at the TV.
Very hard, yeah.
So that was difficult.
And then we helped each other through it massively. And we went on holiday with our friends.
Yeah.
And we relaxed and forgot about it. And we didn't forget, we'll never forget, but we had to move forward, didn't we? We had to move forward.
Yeah, we did, just everything happened quickly, didn't it?
Yes.
We kind of told everyone.
Yeah.
Then
But we
went for a
didn't. We
scan.
told our family and a couple of our close friends.
Yeah. I was having time off work as well, weren't I, for like scans and stuff like that. Make
Yeah,
sure
so
everyone was
works
fine.
knew, yeah.
So then certain people at work knew, and then we went for a scan, didn't we, and they didn't pick anything up on the things. You're still showing signs of being pregnant, but all your levels are kind of dropped. And
Everything, the HCG level was dropping. And that was when it was, well, it shows, didn't it? It hurt. And then we went for day drinks with your parents for the first time, and we had a great day, didn't we? But something was niggling in the back of my head all day, and I didn't know if it was the anxiety of being with my new in-laws, or I just don't know. I can't explain the feeling, and I know mums that have had that feeling will understand. It's something. Mother's instinct is a thing, right? I'm not saying father's instinct isn't. It's not that. I'm saying mother's instinct is real. The morning after, I was getting up to do a Sunday shift at the hospital, and I said, Nathan, something's weird here. So I did a test, and it came up positive, didn't it? Uh-oh. So on the way to work, I went and got 2 tests, and I did it twice again at work, and they were positive. And I showed one of my best friends. She's still one of my best friends. She went, okay, good. Let's keep it quiet. Let's get your blood sorted, because obviously I work in the hospital, and let's see how we can support you and look after you. From then on, we were so scared, weren't we, that anything could go wrong, and we didn't know when to tell people, and it was all very rocky. But I couldn't believe it, could I? My HCG levels were fine, and the scans came back fine, and our bloods and everything was going great. But I physically could not accept or believe that I had a human growing.
you didn't accept it until I was about 6 months old.
I did my best. Like, I was like, whoa, how have I done this? So yeah, that was hard, wasn't it? And I think the time I did accept it more so was we went for the scan and my mum came and we found out the gender, and we had a gender reveal, and then we found out it was a boy, and everyone was buzzing. And even though it was moving about on that scan, I still was like, I kind of was in awe and disbelief that I could create such an amazing thing, and it is miraculous. And it was such a hard process to get to that point. The fact that when we opened that gender and it was blue, and I was like, we're actually going to be parents to a boy. We didn't have a name for a boy. I only had the name Alice for a girl.
Well, we had a name for a boy, and then I told you I didn't like it.
Yeah, it wasn't Otis, by the way.
I went down the route of,
We won't go there.
if it's a girl, then I never have to mention it. So I was like a week running up to gender reveal, like, I don't like the name, but
Yeah.
if it's a girl, I never need to talk about
Yeah.
it. So I'm just going to keep it to myself. And then I was nervous. And then I opened the box and it was blue. And I was like, I'll just let you know I don't like the name. When people were asking, have you got a name? I was like, we did have,
So
but
we
I don't
went
like
back
it.
to the drawing board, and we had all my nieces and nephews throwing names at us, didn't we, all night? And then I woke up and I said, I love the name Otis. And you went, are you joking? We said that in 2020, and you said no. And I said, well, I like it now. And it's stuck.
One of our bonding moments during lockdown was talking about baby names, and I had a list.
That's when you know is the one, when you have to isolate with somebody, spend really close proximity with them. Then you decided that one day we're going to go to New York to what's that tree called? Someone let us know in the comments. The big tree that's lit up at Christmas.
No idea, you know this.
Oh, you think so? Anyway, I'm moving forward. And we decided that. We decided we want to go to Paris, and we decided our kids' names.
Well, we did. You told me you didn't like any of my names on my list, so I deleted it.
Yeah.
And then you told me that the name you wanted to actually call your child was the number 1 on my list.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, okay.
Yeah.
Well, at least that's my thing
least you had
sorted,
an
and I got my
approval.
way.
Yeah.
But I deleted that list that night. because you were like, I don't like any of the names, so I just deleted
That
them all.
was so harsh. I'm sorry.
You've done that with everything. Don't like that pair of jeans, and then I pull them out of the wardrobe 6 months later, and you're like, where have those jeans come from? I like those. I'm like, you told me you didn't like them, so I never wore them again. I just left them in the wardrobe.
How'd you cope?
Manage it. I just put them in wardrobe.
Until another day.
Yeah, get rid of them.
Well, anyway. So yeah, we had a baby boy. The pregnancy was disgusting. It was so hard mentally and physically, more so physically than mentally.
We never enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy any of it.
No, I had hypermesis all the way through, ended up with pelvic girdle pain. The birth was traumatic.
Yeah, so
And it
the
was
birth we'll
a
talk
shock.
about on a different podcast.
Yeah,
We're just
it
talking
was
about.
shocking. So that's going to be a warning. It's got to have a warning coming with that. So, and then
We'll have to tick the box. Not made for kids on YouTube. However, none of them are made for kids, I think, so far. But yeah, I'll have to put a big advisory badge at the beginning.
yeah, pregnancy was horrible, wasn't it? And I don't think that you struggled, but you struggled.
Yeah, I struggled because I had to show that I was strong being there and stuff like that, but I also had to listen to you.
Yeah.
And you weren't exactly the nicest of people.
No, I wasn't.
I
I
mean,
hated it. I hated it. Every moment of it. Apart
I-
from the scans and the kicks, I hated it.
I involuntarily did probably about 100-hour fast.
Yeah, sorry about that. So I'll break that down. I hated smells of any sort, and food was a big one. I was upstairs. I had to have a day off work because I couldn't stop being sick. And he put the air fryer on and made chicken, and I was like, "What are you doing? Please stop! I can't cope." So yeah, you stopped eating for a bit, didn't you?
You were just having like snacky bits of food and stuff like that, but I'm not really a massive snacker, am I? I
No.
need meals, but then for like breakfast, I like proper meals, don't I? And I'm not necessarily, I don't like cereal because I just have to eat lots
It's
of
blooming
it.
pizza for breakfast.
Oh yeah, it's concept of time, isn't it? What is time? You can have food
Oh,
whenever
yeah.
you want. There's no morning, no evening.
Yeah, there is.
It's just the sun going up and down. But yeah, so there was no. So there was one time I didn't eat for 4 days, did I? Because I
Yeah.
work from home, so I got into a routine of like having my lunch at home, taking time away from my desk, cooking my lunch, having stuff in like the freezer or in the fridge, and having like a proper meal because it helped. But then I just didn't eat, and then it got to, was it like Friday? Was it the end of the week?
Yeah.
And you said you were really hungry.
I think I was about 7 months pregnant, and I was like, really hungry. Really hungry. He's like, "What do you fancy?" And I said, do you remember what I said?
Chinese.
Yeah.
You said Chinese, but we've got one of those Chinese shops that serves English food. No, you said you wanted sausage and chips, didn't you?
chips and gravy.
You said you wanted sausage, chips and
Which
gravy,
is
but-
really random because it's not something I order.
Yeah, so we went to the place that was like English food with Chinese.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was one of those, and I passed you the phone. You put your sausage, chips, and gravy on, didn't you? And then you passed it back to me, and I sat there for 10 minutes, and then just ordered it, and you not really asked. And then it came to the door, and there were 2 bags of food,
Yeah.
and I sat there, and I ordered like 5 sides and a meal,
Yeah.
and sat there and ate the lot.
4 different dishes or something. And I was like, "You okay?" You went, "I am now." You made up for a week's worth of being hungry.
Yeah, I ate for like a family of 4.
It was hard.
But I did go for a fast for 4 days. So I'll look at doing another fast for a couple of days now, but then
That's a different
it's
circumstance.
really easy. Yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
really easy compared to that. But yeah, the pregnancy was horrible.
Yeah.
Couldn't say anything. Couldn't really eat. Well, I couldn't eat anything.
No.
Couldn't do anything.
Smells,
Everything was a
noises,
challenge.
everything was frustrating me. The air outside was up frustrating me. It was very, very hard. I'm lucky that I could have carried that baby and that we provided a home for a healthy and happy baby. But my goodness, it was hard. And people say, "Oh, you can't just have one. He's got to have a sibling. You can't leave him alone." I can't do that again.
Went through pollen season without antihistamines because you take strong antihistamines. So that was like,
Pollen
Mass-
season's now, by the way, guys. And if anyone else is struggling, I'm here for you.
yeah, and that was a massive thing, wasn't it?
Awful. Awful. However, because I was pregnant, I could sleep a lot. Whereas now, can't.
That's what you did.
Yeah. I was awake between 2 and 4 a.m. today because of hay fever. My body was itchy, everything on my face, and I've got the antihistamines. But it
And
was
I-
really bothering me.
I used to work and then take dog out.
Yeah, because I couldn't do that. So my dog got left behind, and then you had to pick that up.
Dog got fed though.
Yeah. because I couldn't eat anything, so she had it all.
Dog got fed.
Oh, good night.
She didn't get sardines though throughout the whole pregnancy.
No, because I couldn't eat that. It couldn't be around them.
Well, yeah, that was absolute mad for everyone.
Yeah.
They hated it.
It's a miracle journey and it's full of surprises, but it's not always good for everyone. So bear in mind, if you know people who are pregnant and they are struggling, struggle's real.
Yeah. I imagine like some pregnancies are really good. I mean, some people do try and tell you that it's really good. However,
one of my best friends is. She sailed through it.
Yeah, but it's one of those people say, would you have another? I weren't even the pregnant one. Like, I'm just giving my view as a male part of it, which I still think is important.
Yeah, of course it is.
But no, because there's a risk that it'll be the exact same as last time.
Yeah.
I'm not prepared for that again.
The thing is with me, the pregnancy was that hard and the birth was that hard that I don't want to go through that again in case it's the same. However, the baby is that great and beautiful and well behaved and lovely. You never get a nice baby twice, apparently. If I'm wrong, but I'm not willing to take that risk. So I'm either going to have a bad pregnancy or a bad baby and struggle either way. Don't want to take that risk. We have created a lovely family. Me, you, Otis and the dog. I'm happy with that.
Also, I hyper-focus on things. I'd end up leaving one.
That's not a good sign.
Well, it's not.
It's the truth.
It's the truth. Otis gets my attention and I can't give two. And they say you can't have favourites, but I probably would end up having a favourite. And I've just set up a business which is called OTI5 after his name, and I'm not setting up a second.
No, and I'm not setting up one. I haven't got time or capacity.
Second bank account that I've got to put money in every week. Second business I've got to put effort into. There's way more to this than actually just having another baby. And I'm not going through that pregnancy again with a child. Imagine how hard it is. We just had Daisy to look after. Yeah. Daisy's the dog. But we just had Daisy to look after. But having you being pregnant, you're big enough as a child anyway, and then Otis as well.
Yeah.
It'd be absolutely mad. I'd drive myself up the absolute wall.
Yeah. We can't do it.
No.
Packed.
It's very easy to not just don't have another one.
Okay.
It's simple.
So yeah, pregnancy is hard. It's up and downs for everybody. Everyone has a totally different journey, but there are similarities. We can't judge everyone's pregnancies either. We can't judge everyone's parenting because you don't know what they're feeling going through. You can get prenatal, perinatal, postnatal. You can get all of the symptoms of depression. You can struggle. You can pretend you're okay and you're not. Then there's the whole other story of when they're here, you've got to provide for them. Nursery fees are extortionate. Our nursery is fantastic. They are a great company for him to be around. He loves it. We love them. They're very honest and open with us and we can be with them. So it's worth the money. I know there are mums that I have as friends who don't feel the same about their nursery and their kids' nursery, but it's their only option because it's where they live, and you know, nursery is a massive thing that people have to take in consideration. That's not even taking into consider any health issues, any teething issue. Teething is, don't want to talk. That's like a taboo subject for me. I get it has to happen, but I think it was my sister. Why can we not just be born with teeth? Someone said it. Someone very close to me said it, and I was like, I can't answer that, can I? Let's be honest. And he is going to struggle going through it. He is struggling with his teething. That's another topic entirely. But why can't we be born with teeth? There are animals that are born with teeth, surely.
Then not got calcium in the diet yet, have they? I'm not sure what they...
But why not?
They get calcium from you, but they're taking calcium in through the mouth. I'm not really sure.
The amount of heartburn I had over pregnancy and the amount of milk I was drinking through pregnancy, that kid should have come out with a full set.
And hair, and he didn't really come out with much hair either.
He was beautiful though.
Yeah. But yeah, not really sure. I'm sure that I'll be in my head now until I put it on threads for the next week. Why a baby's not born with teeth.
Why a baby's not born with teeth.
Yeah.
So, and are there any animals that are born with teeth? That's something I want to find out.
Probably quite a few. But some of them do end up. Imagine baby sharks are born with teeth.
There's a bird, isn't there, that's born with the ability... So they're born on a cliff and then they have to fly And the survival rate, this is dark, but the survival rate isn't very high of this bird. That's why they're extinct, because some have got the strength to fly and survive, and some have just don't. They don't fly. Weird.
Interesting one. But yeah, babies have become less developed for us though, haven't they, through making pregnancy shorter over evolution.
Yeah.
Read Sapiens again if you want to learn about that one.
I was going to say another book plug there. Book plug.
Wow. A book. Another book about humankind. That was a weird one.
Sorry.
Sure there be more of those. I think that's the first. But yeah, in terms of pregnancy, I spoke about it on our work podcast as well.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. We all try and help.
Yeah.
And we'll all, if you are having a child or going through pregnancy, everyone's going to tell you how hard it is. And every single one of those people, and it doesn't matter how hard they've tried, aren't lying to you, but they just don't hit the mark. Like, no one
Can prepare you for it.
hits the mark. People will tell you how hard it is. We will openly say that it's one of the hardest things we've ever done, and you'll be sat there like, it can't be that hard. Okay, go for it.
Yeah, the hardest. And I think what was harder for us is we do have mental health issues as well. So balancing that around a child, well, it's catastrophic at times if you can't keep a lid on it. You know, when popcorn pops and you go pop, 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 that's the things that a baby... I have a friend in South Africa, hi Dylan, he said to me, your ADHD, your regime and routine will go out the window as soon as that baby arrives. And I thought, yeah, I can deal with it. He went, you won't. And he was nail on the head. Because one thing happens, and then pop, pop, pop. All of a sudden you get a mountain of popcorn, you don't know what you're doing, and you're like, Nathan, we need to sort this out. This is hard. And you're like, what are we sorting out? Because underneath it all, Nathan's under the popcorn thinking, where did all this come from? Because we can't communicate. We don't have the time to communicate it thoroughly. No matter how many texts and how many conversations we have, there's always something I've not been able to tell you. And vice versa. It's hard to communicate parenting. So you've got to deal with it. It's like I know it's instinctive, but you've got to deal with it in the moment. And I think that's the important thing is, I reckon survival SAS would help us, to be honest, because it's responding in the moment to any situation.
There's also a really interesting post that was done by Ellie Middleton. She posted it on my LinkedIn, so she's taken off because of ADHD. She got diagnosed with ADHD, wrote a second book, all that side. But she wrote about how ADHD people see the world, and using the popcorn thing is where we differ really, because all I see is popcorn now, and I think very literally, and it's just like I'm underneath loads of popcorn.
Exactly why I explained it like that.
Yeah, but in terms of that one, what she said is how people think, and people think top down, and ADHD people see bottom up. So using that popcorn thing as an analogy, a typical person will look at that big pile of popcorn and say, that's popcorn. Yeah, but an ADHD person will look at every individual piece of popcorn and then consider it as, now it's popcorn.
Yeah.
Like, and it happens, and I would say it happens to me in certain environments, more so when I step out the door and then my anxiety's through the roof because I've left the house.
True story.
Yeah, but in terms of that, she did it by a restaurant.
Okay.
So going into a restaurant, a typical person would be like, I'm in a restaurant. And then you'll choose to focus in on a meal or a certain person or a certain sound or something like that. Whereas ADHD person, so she walks into a restaurant and she sees the smells, the lights, the sound, the people in there, the size of the room, like, and she takes in everything.
Yeah.
And then when she gets to the end, she's like, oh, I'm in a restaurant. But at that point, she's been so overstimulated by everything else.
So we recently went to Nando's randomly, didn't we? We needed some time out, just me and you. You knew what you wanted on that menu. You sat down, you said, the only thing I want to look at is what's the hottest hot sauce they've got. I wanted to check out how many people were cooking the food, and this is a really genuine thing that went through my head. They'd sat us in the middle of the restaurant. What was at the side of us? Them two young lads, bless them, they didn't bother us, but they were sat at the side of us. I wanted to know why they were so close. Have I got the right cutlery? Have I got enough straws? What drink we get? Exactly what Ellie Middleton, exactly what she just explained was going through my head at that time. I can specifically remember that the woman in the booth opposite us had a Barbie, kind of like American style t-shirt on.
That was behind me.
Do you remember the kid who hit his dad with the phone on his head?
You told me about these were all behind me.
But this is all going through my head. So yeah, I totally get that. It is a perspective as well. Totally different mental health status.
That's one of my strategies though, of going into a place like that and pretending no one else is there. That's how we did. That's why we got through London, wasn't it? Through busy places now, I just consider no people there. And if the more I go to a certain place, the more I can do that.
Yeah.
So like Trafford Centre, for example,
yeah,
it's close to us. So Trafford Centre was one of my safe spaces because I could go and I could blank everyone out. But then when I think about my journeys to the Trafford Centre, it felt like I was alone, and I probably wasn't. I was just in a busy place. But zoning everyone out, we went to Winter Wonderland.
Yeah.
So we went to Winter Wonderland, and I'd managed to focus in enough, and we'd finished, and you were like, are you okay? Are you overstimulated? How are you with the crowd? And I said, I actually felt like there was no one there.
Yeah, we had a lovely day then.
That once I picked up on it, that was the first time I'd really picked up on it of when it is really busy, how do I feel?
Yeah.
And the Winter Wonderland one was like, actually, don't feel like anyone's there because I can zone in on a certain thing. So like bookshops are my favourite.
Notice was there.
Yeah, but that was it.
I
But
know
it was literally just like the three of us because I was focused on you and I was focused on the smells and the different like stalls that were going around. Like bookshops are so stimulating, but then in a way grounding. They're one of my favourite things to go in a bookshops, and that was what I used to do in a Trafford Centre, is grab a book, go Starbucks, or like and just read a book or sit on my laptop or something. And I quite like that because you can pretend no one's there, and it happens subconsciously. It might happen for other people. It's
so how do you link that to parenting and pregnancy then?
Sometimes I forget else is there. No. In terms of parenting and pregnancy, the pregnancy was hard. Yeah, I was just doing my best to just get through it.
There should be more support for men helping their partners with pregnancy, or even in same-sex relationships. The woman that's carrying that baby is going through a lot of changes that she doesn't understand. She doesn't physically know how to deal with, or how she's projecting onto the partner. So I think there should be a lot more partner support in pregnancy, because I had perinatal support, and luckily that was through the NHS and work providing me with perinatal support, whereas that was during the pregnancy. The partner didn't get offered any of that, but yet you were still dealing with things, you were still struggling with things, how to help and things like that. I think that's huge that the UK could now help with and create a platform for.
When we had visits or anything like that, or we went for a scan or anything, I always felt on the side.
Yeah, no,
I always felt pushed all the way through. Even now, I still feel pushed to one side as a parent on all of it.
Yeah.
I feel like often you're spoken at. Even when I'm in the room, you're spoken at. Like they're not bothered.
Really?
Yeah. I think that's just the case. Because there's such an important issue with like, I've got to look after the person who's having the child.
Yeah.
So
yeah, maybe we should change that dynamic then.
Yeah, I went to see Dad's Matters now, which is I think it's a UK thing.
It is.
I'm not sure how far it spreads, but it's very much like the base is Wigan, isn't it? Where we are, and that helped. But because it was just me.
Yeah.
Mikey was the person who I went and met and stuff like that, talk about parenting. I hope he doesn't mind me saying, but was autistic as well. Diagnosed autistic, and it was great that he could support me on it because
he understood.
It helped me through that first bit of like the sound, and it absolutely driving me mad to the point of like tears.
Yeah.
So it was that side. So that was great, and that support system's there.
Yeah.
But it's just
you did struggle with the crying.
You have to go and seek it yourself.
Yeah, you did struggle with the crying, and I looked for help for you, as in what is out there for a parent who has mental struggles, autism, ADHD, whatever. The mother gets the help, and the dad should get also, or not just dad, parent, partner, should get the same support, because you did struggle with that crying. it was only something that I could comfort him with. I was breastfeeding at the time, and it was hard, wasn't it? That you felt like you couldn't do anything. You just could only give him to me and help support me and help. How can you help me?
Yes.
And it was hard because I didn't know how to say, Nathan, how can I help you? We did say it, didn't we? But you were like, I don't know.
But it's at the beginning, like, he doesn't have a bond with me.
No.
He's being breastfed. He doesn't have a bond with me at all.
Yeah.
And all of the things that I recognise as building relationships with people that I can struggle with, but I've learned. Like 28 now, coming up to 29, and I've learned it. Like, I try and learn facial expressions, learn how people speak, learn how people move, and like basic body language. He don't do any of that.
He was just like...
He literally doesn't do any of that, and he didn't do any of that for ages. And as soon as he started doing it, that's when I started picking it up.
Yeah, it kicked in, didn't it? Yeah, it definitely did.
Now I just teach him loads of stuff.
Yeah, he only waves at you and he only high fives at you. He don't do it to me.
Yeah. So he does only wave at me.
Yeah.
But we just have that. Clapping. Taught him clapping.
And splashing. Splashing in the bath.
Splashing backfired very quickly. So did clapping, to be fair. Clapping backfired massively when
I
watching.
loved it.
You loved it. So just for those who haven't heard the story, I was watching the Einstein documentary on Netflix, and I have Polish grandparents, or great-grandparents, so passed down to, and while watching the Einstein documentary, Hitler pops up a lot, and every time Hitler popped up and there were big cheers, Otis clapped.
It was really harsh. He
quite
clapped
funny,
because he was joining in with the clapping,
Yeah.
not because he's a...
I know why. It's because there's cheering
supporter.
and he feels like it's clapping because we've
Yeah.
taken him on football matches, we've taken him on rugby matches.
Yeah.
When people are clapping, he claps.
Yeah.
That's like that side of
And
it,
I
clapping
say,
to music, he
"Yay!"
claps.
to him, yeah.
Just meant he clapped Hitler
That
all
was
the time.
so fun. Oh, God.
It was quite funny.
It's something we'll tell him when he's 18,
Yeah.
not before.
When did you first cause offence? Oh, when I was like 9 months old. Yeah. So we're going to finish off. I think it's going to be a longer episode, but finish off talking about books.
Okay.
Yeah, about books you're reading. So I'll start with mine. Yeah. So Discipline is Destiny. I'll post a picture here so we don't get up, and it is on the shelf. It's grabbable if we stand up, but we won't do that. So Discipline is Destiny by Ryan Holiday, and he does the Daily Stoic, and he has like lots of books about Stoicism really and philosophy. His YouTube channel's really good, but Discipline is Destiny. He uses lots of stories from other people and how they've shown discipline. He loves the Queen. The Queen's in it quite a lot.
I love Queen.
So the Queen is in it quite a lot, but then American presidents, and then certain sports people, like baseball people who played like 2,500 games in a row or something like that. In baseball's huge because you can have multiple ones on one day. Like he uses lots of stories, and it's just motivating you to
showing that it can be done.
Yeah, not necessarily be more disciplined, but just how to be a little bit more disciplined. But I stand by me being disciplined myself really helps my mental health.
Yeah.
So that's why I read that book and chose to do that. But I also read his Daily Stoic and Daily Dad every single day, which I've got on my Kindle. So I read the little passage every single day, which help just to provide a little bit of something in a morning. Yeah. Sit down, I do all of my breath work and morning stuff, and then it's, right, I'll sit down with my first like drink or something, like whether it's electrolytes, water, coffee, it's later on, and just read those couple of pages. It's only one page, so those are good. I'd recommend those though at the beginning of the year because they're structured from January to December. So, and he always has them on Kindle for 99p. So wait off until December. But Discipline is Destiny. It was on sale for the paperback. I'll share an affiliate link in the description for it. But what are you reading at the moment or have read?
I am still reading this book will change your mind about mental health because I've not had the chance to read. I've had quite a stressful couple of weeks. So I'm still on that. But I think I'm going to plug Gina Swire's book, P.S. I Love Me, because I think it's really important that anyone, male or female, any gender, any race, anything, any belief, read the book because it's so important that love comes from inside. And then, I don't even want to spoil it. It's a great book. She's a great person to follow on socials. It's a great book. P.S. I Love Me, affiliate link will be in the description.
Is that on Amazon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got mine on Amazon.
Yeah, so we'll get that on there as well. And then I've moved on to, so a bit of the way through, the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Oh yeah, I've heard about this. There's a lot of good things about this.
Yeah, I flicked through the contents page. It was between that and then Homo Deus by Yuval Noah Harari, who did Sapiens.
Oh,
so
yeah,
that's the second one. I haven't got around to reading it yet, even though I read Sapiens years ago.
You always come back to Sapiens as well. So
such a life-changing book.
Yeah, everyone should read it.
Yeah, it's just about evolution, but it just teaches you loads where like people come from. It's
I
kind
work
of
with somebody who doesn't believe in evolution, and he's a scientist. The end.
That's one of the joys of being human, isn't it? You can believe what you want, and you can disprove what you want.
Yeah, relativism versus realism. Is that what you called it?
Yeah, and realism doesn't exist.
Whatever. Yeah.
But it doesn't.
Oh, I'm not going into that. Another episode. Definitely another episode.
Or leave it for Fred's post.
Okay. So anything you want to talk about, links, comments, affiliates, we'll drop it all in the description. Please comment, like, share, post, and boost us, please. We've got a lot more on episode 2 and really appreciate it. And any input does help. And the topics that have been thrown at us help structure and script the next episode, and that helps me massively. You're quite good at thinking about things anyway, but if you give me something on the week after the release, I can think about it then. It takes me a little longer to process a conversation about it, because otherwise I forget what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm used to having questions thrown up, random questions with teaching.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you can carry on supporting us as much as you possibly can. I've just released a PDF. So a PDF of kind of a simplified version of my morning routine.
Yeah.
So I've released that. So what I wanted to do is, I know, especially now in the current climate, not everyone can afford clothing. So just giving something that would support us. So like a £2.50 PDF, because the more you give back, the more they give to us in terms of supporting us, the more I've got plans to kind of give that back.
Yes.
I'm not planning on this being a business that makes a huge amount of money. We've both got full-time jobs, and that's fine. So giving back, supporting those, so giving like giveaways to certain people, those that are interacting with our Instagrams, we do see you, and we want to
we have recognised it.
We want to give back to those sort of people, and doing meetups in the summer, but supporting us allows us to do all of this, and we do thank everyone who is currently helping us. Be aware for things like our code. When this goes out, Earth 10, we'll get you 10% off.
Earth 10, as in Earth, the world Earth, the soil Earth 10. Earth 10.
Earth 10, it'll be on Instagram, it will be on Facebook, it's now on this, and it'll be in the description. So Earth 10, but only for this weekend, just to celebrate Earth Day, which is coming up on Monday. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, and I've also, to help you a little bit further, discounted certain clothing. Woohoo! So certain clothing has got up to 20% off.
Love
that code will work over on that as well.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so please do go and help us as much as you can. If you have any ideas for t-shirts that you'd like, or hoodies that you'd like, post them in there. I'm happy to create them.
Yeah, ask anything. See what we can do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Hopefully, now that I've got a little bit more of a routine, I can produce a few things
Just
in between
saying,
now and a couple of weeks.
Couple of weeks? Our baby will be 1 by then.
Couple of days, our baby will be 1.
Yeah, but on the next episode, he will have been 1.
Yeah.
Yay! Happy birthday to him.
Yeah, so that'll be a couple of weeks.
Okay. Till then, thank you. Like, share, support, comment, interact. Let's do this.
Yeah. Thank you very much. See you in a couple of weeks.